Started.
Simar. Okay, well, let's start off with knight f3. Okay, symmetrical response. Oh, we could go for English, I guess. Let's see where he wants to put his center pawn. Okay, we're getting a symmetrical English. Let's maybe I'll go back to the Botvinnik setup. Oh no, I can't. I put the knight here. What to do then? Maybe just big center. Go for the big center. So this looks like a King's Indian setup here. Yeah, I could play e4, and now I've got the Fianchetto set up against the King's Indian. He goes e5. So do I want to let him take? Take, I take, he takes, I take, and then the queen's there. Yeah, I don't know if that's so good. Let's push on. The thing is, my bishop, it is a Maroczy binds setup kind of, but my bishop would be blocked in, so maybe not the best setup for me. Okay, maybe I can develop this bishop while his knights are somewhat awkwardly placed there. He can just kick it. He can kick my bishop. With pawn to h6, that might be a good move here. He could ignore it and move this knight around. Knight to h4, back to e8. Okay, that gives me time to play this move. Queen d2, bishop to h6. I think it was probably better to kick the bishop and not let me get this in. Because black's idea here is to play f5, which he does anyway, and open things up for his dark squared bishop. So I think in this case I can trade the dark squared bishop off, and then I have nothing to fear from this opening of the king side. That's my theory anyway. And that move is a bit rare. Usually white black either pushes or waits for white to take. When black takes, it gives me a square on an e4 for my knight. So unless there's a tactical problem here, like maybe bishop to f4. Now he goes knight f4. Okay, so I was going to take there anyway. Bishop f5 rather. Putting pressure on the loose knight might have been more of a problem for me. I don't think this should be bad. I think this should be okay. Seems like I got the better of that deal with these two knights in the center. These two knights. Where are they going? They're over on the king side, but where do they go from there? They go to, you can get a knight into d4. Knight d4 and knight to f5 might be a plan. But I would just take it, but I have to keep an eye on that square. Okay, how do I make progress? Maybe I have knight to g5 to d6. You can take it. Well, this maybe is a funny move, but I'm going to kick that knight. I want to move my knight on f3, and whenever I move it, he's going to hop in here to d4 with his knight. So I want to kick his knight away first, and then I'll be able to move this knight. He goes there anyway. I thought that was a mistake. But now he gets this pawn. So it's a trade of pawns. So, yeah, I was expecting bishop takes, but he can take with the rook too, I guess. Or can I just defend the pawn now? He's waited a move. Is he going to win the knight? The knight seems pretty well defended, and the queen can unpin. Right? So let's defend that. I mean, he can only attack this with pieces. I could even support this with a pawn on f3. He has has no pawn to take advantage of the pin. He can only attack with pieces like the bishop. Yeah, he can undermine like that. Okay, so let's get this. Let's get this to f3 then, supporting the knight. Blocks in my bishop, but I think that's only temporary. Maybe not. Now he wants to close things up. Okay, let's unpin the knight and put a little pressure on his rook. Maybe defend the c-pawn with b3 and then bring a rook to the d-file, e-file. Yeah. So I can take there and take the knight at some point if ever this pawn is not defended. Take there with the knight and then take his rook if he ever leaves this pawn improperly defended, let's say. Okay, but for now, let's continue with this plan. A solid line of pawns here, get a rook to the center. So I have one issue in this position, which is a blocked-in bishop. Other than that, I'm pretty good. So am I threatening knight takes here? Knight takes. He can probably trade queens first, and then his. But if he trades queens, yeah. So knight takes, queen takes is probably what he will play. If he trades queens, then my knight is safe there. I didn't finish that thought, but that was the idea. Okay, so let's step back here. So I have a rook opposing his queen. Now maybe I could play knight knight c5 to d6 might be interesting. Well, he still has pretty good control of the d6 square. But I get one free move with the knight. Knight b5 doesn't work because queen takes, but knight c5 is a move. He gets his queen out of the way. Let's move the knight out of the way anyway. Open up that d-file and see if we can secure some exchanges. Reduce some pressure, make it easier for me. Maybe I can get the rook to e4 and trade this guy off. That might be something. Or put so much pressure on there that it has to move away. Liberate my
check.
Liberate my f-pawn, which is my extra pawn here. Okay, where can the knight go? Oh, the knight is controlling this square. Okay, let's lift up the queen. No, I don't need to do that. Knight here, knight takes, rook takes, pawn takes. Actually, it gives the bishop one more square of scope, not a whole lot. And knight here kind of threatens to take this pawn, but not really, because there's discoveries against the knight. Now, do I want to take with the pawn or the rook? Let's take with the pawn. Maybe there's a bit of a danger of getting a position that's too completely closed here. And with the rook, at least, it gives me more ideas of pushing this pawn forward. Whereas if I took with the rook immediately, he could just trade it off. So we can come in here. He's stopping me from pushing that pawn. Pawn forward, pawn takes. Yeah, this is not so great, huh? I am going to have to trade stuff off here. Or, I guess another idea would be to hold the status quo here and try and open up a second front over here. But without the bishop, I don't know if that's going to be successful. queen goes there. Here's queen check here. Drive my king away from the rook, but the rook is defended by the bishop
Check.
and the queen. He just takes. I can take with either piece, I guess. Bishop is still defending this pawn.
Check.
Yeah, there he goes. So let's step to the side. But he can just check again if I go to h2. Let's see if he wants to trade. See if I can get something out of this endgame. Queen defends over here, so checks on the back rank don't win material.
Check.
Yeah. Oh, well, from here I can go to h2. Now I can't get back to this square. And my queen can come forward. Yeah, so now he's threatening to come back along this diagonal. That's a good plan for him. And let's see if I come forward. Yeah, I don't have any squares. King, king, queen covers that square, bishop covers that square, pawn, and here. Can go to this square. Hits his pawn, defends
Check.
this square, and I can't do anything about that check. But I can block with the bishop the next time he checks. Or he can go there, okay? I can snag this pawn, but check.
Check.
Now there's a check here, forcing a queen trade. That would be good. My queen's guarding this checking square for his queen. And, okay, he's sacrificing. So if I check first, he takes, I take, then he retreats the bishop. So I should probably grab the bishop first. Oh, I thought he was going to play h3 there to take advantage of the pin. Then I was going to do the check, which might have been okay. Still,
Check.
Let's do this check anyway.
Check.
And then get the queens off. And that should be a winning
Check.
endgame with the extra piece. Just make sure his king doesn't invade. Okay, I can run him out of moves at this point, force him back. He's got to move that pawn forward or exchange it. Forward, okay, then I just move the bishop back. I can move the bishop back and forth on this diagonal. He's got to move his king back now. And I can just keep coming forward.
Check. Black resigns.
Okay, yeah, this is going to be pretty simple. I get as many tempo moves as I like with the bishop, so I can come in here and gobble up all those pawns using this opposition and stuff. Okay, anyway, I'll upload this new postmortem. See you guys later.